we will have our introduction to Archicad. Okay, so essentially, all of you should have already opened Archicad. Archicad is a BIM modeling software similar to Revit. So when you open this up, this is Archicad 26, and you will just go to click on New over here. Okay, and this is the educational version. Just click on the screen, and this will open up. Okay, so what you need to do is select create a new project from template, and you should use Archicad Architectural Profile 26. Okay, and then once you have done that, just click on new. Oh, no license? Oh, but just now we wanted to check. I think if you cannot use, can you use that computer? Try. Okay, you walk over there. So we will wait for her slightly for a while. Otherwise, the rest, just make sure that you go to your Polite Mall. So the Polite Mall will have all the notes here. Okay, so we are going to go through this part 1 today. There are 75 pages. Okay, so don't worry, we will not need to cover all the 75 pages today. Anyway, you all will meet me again on Thursday, so we can finish it on Thursday. Okay, the schedule as per the plan in the what's that thing called? Your timetable is not cast in stone. Okay, so we will be flexible, because as I mentioned to you just now, right, the whatever that we are supposed to teach you will be very acceptable within the number of lessons that we have. Okay, for those who cannot access the Polite Mall, you can let me know via the WhatsApp, then I can send you the link. which you can also see that I have over here. See, it's also in my OneDrive. Okay, so by this time, you settled there nicely already. And open Archicad. Okay. So what I just want to introduce to you is that you are very lucky. The last batch, right? They were still learning Archicad 23. Now this lab has upgraded the license to 26 already. Okay. So the user interface is generally the same, but sometimes for certain workflows, it's faster with Archicad 26 because they streamline it already. Okay, so essentially what you see over here, this is the user interface whereby you can toggle between different maps. This is how Archicad terms their user interface. So you have the project map, you have the view map, you have the layout book, and then you have the layout. So it's kind of similar if you're coming from an AutoCAD background, right? About sheets, you know, the sheets from AutoCAD. This is quite similar to Revit in the way that Revit organizes its drawings as well in floor plans and elevations. Okay. So you can just toggle with this to just familiarize yourself with it. Okay. Then the next thing about the user interface will be this portion over here. Okay, this portion over here is where you will have the tools that you will use to model your project or annotate your project. So for example, here, there's this viewpoint, and then also the documentation that you see over here. Okay, we will cover this as we go along the lesson. Okay. Next up will be this particular interface here, right? Where you will learn how to use tools such as this. This is kind of like if you use Photoshop, right? Where you can pick a color and then you can fill a color, right? So similar to this concept, what you will be doing here is that you will use Archicad to be able to use this to pick up certain portions of the not snip picture of the walls, right? Maybe certain walls, then you can match it to other walls that you have modeled. Okay. Let me just make sure that mic is turned on. Okay. I think I use this microphone better. Hello. Okay. Okay. There will be other tools that you see over here, right? This is measure. And if you notice, now I'm just hovering here, right? For you, you won't have this giant cursor to block you, but
you will notice that it will, when you hover past it, it will describe what is that tool, and you will have a bracket. This bracket is the shortcut tool for using the keyboard. Okay. So for example, this is the measure tool, right? So essentially it will help you measure the distance between points and so on and so forth. Okay. Then lastly, what you have over here, this is a ribbon. Okay. Just click on this portion first. Okay. And then use your middle mouse button. You'll realize that you can scroll through different options within here. Okay. So everybody just try. See whether it works for you. You have to click here. Or if your ribbon bar is hidden, you try to click on wall first. This should automatically show up. Okay, and then now you can use your middle mouse button to scroll through. Okay. Now, right, what you see below here is where you can have different kinds of zoom, orientation of your drawing, scale, layer, pen styles. These are customizations that we will come to at around the 5th or 6th week. Okay, but you don't need to worry about this. Okay, so what I just want you all to do now is to all make sure that you have the wall selected on the top left hand corner, and then go over to this X point here. Okay, you'll realize that when your cursor goes there, it will do a nice fancy animation, like do a circle like that, right? So it's, some people like it, some people don't like it. Okay, you like it because it's very intuitive, right? It knows you, it makes you know that you are trying to do something. But certain people, especially if you are rushing for your deadline, right? It's also very irritating because you have to wait for the circle to finish. Then it will automatically acknowledge that you are snapping to this particular point. Okay, but that's the thing about Archicad. So what I just want you to do now is just to click once, and now this particular arrow will become a pencil point. Okay, so this pencil point will be an indication of where you will want to draw your wall to. Okay, you will notice that as you move your mouse along, the distance and the angle there will change, right? If you use the tab button on your keyboard, tab, you see once I tap, you will see that the number changes. Okay, and it will be highlighted in blue. Okay, if I tap once only, like what I did just now, it will go to distance. If I tap again, it will go to angle. Okay, and if I tap one more time, it will have even more options for us. Okay, so this is how you can be very precise when you are modeling using Archicad, right? By using tab to toggle through these different parameters for you to inform Archicad how you want to draw your wall. Okay, so you can use tab to cycle through everything, right? So now I just want you all to tap and cycle to angle. Okay, this is just to test. It's not in the notes, but I just want you all to familiarize. If you type 45 in this angle and press enter, you'll realize that now your wall is stuck at 45 degrees. Okay, and then you can click to complete your wall. Okay, so we can repeat that step again. Okay, so now, for example, I tap and now I say 15, enter. So you see here, it will draw a wall to 15 degrees and as per the distance that I've set. Okay, I will undo again and repeat again. So if I draw now, I hover here, click, and now I want a specific distance, right? Say for example 20,000 and then 90 degrees, enter. Okay, so now this is my wall that is 20 meters and 90 degrees from my original point. Okay, all clear? So if I were to zoom into this particular wall, right, and I select this wall now, okay, you will notice that there is a blue line here in the sort of middle 3/4 point, and then you have the finish here. Okay, so this is because if you see from here, our reference line is the core outside. Okay, when you click on this particular button here in your reference line location, you'll be able to flip your finishes. Okay, if you don't see this particular reference line location ribbon, you just need to use your middle mouse button to scroll until you see this part. Okay, and then you can click this, or you can adjust different kinds of configuration. Okay, you can also use inside face, center, outside face. Okay, so just experiment with that. Essentially just these two buttons, right? So this will influence how you will draw your walls. It's kind of like the setting out. Okay, so now we move on. I will zoom out. Okay, now if I hover, right? Okay, so what I've done, okay, let me just exit. I just press escape. It doesn't matter how long you have drawn the wall and whether you have drawn the wall 45 degree or vertical. Okay, when you hover near the wall, you will notice something. Do you see that there is a line that is perpendicular to the wall now? That's because for our snaps, it is set as mid snap. When I click here, you will be able to snap to this particular midpoint here. Okay, you can always configure different kinds of snapping from this particular user interface here on the top left hand corner. Click on this little triangle and you can see that at the moment now the snapping is to half. You can also change to division tree. Now, if I were to move my cursor here, can you see that the lines is no longer just one line in the middle, but there are three divisions and 2 lines, right? And if I just wait for Archicad to do the circle animation, then I will be able to snap to this point, right? And then I can click on it, and this thing will come up. Archicad calls this the pet palette. Okay, sometimes it may appear here, sometimes it may appear somewhere else. It depends on how the last person who have used Archicad have moved this palette around. Okay, you can always move this palette around by clicking on this vertical portion here, and then you will move it around. Right? Okay. What I just want to let all of you do is to introduce how you can, if you click on this first option here, what this does is inserting a control point. If you are familiar with AutoCAD, it means you are adding a vertex point. Okay. And then once you click, it will become this angular wall. Okay. Let me just undo. And I try to do it again. Okay. So it gets a bit of getting used to. You see, you have to wait for the circle to come up, then you have to click, and then after that, then you can access the palette. Okay, there's another option here whereby I click here, right, on the blue line, is to use this second option here. Okay, the plus then with a arc here. When you click on this, what happens is that it will make your wall into a curved wall. Okay, and if you want to be very precise, like just now, if I were to click here, right, I can tap and I can change the radius to be a specific radius. Okay, so now it will look something like this. Okay, I will undo. Let's just try one last thing of playing around with the walls. So wait for the circle to animate itself. Okay, then you click. Then now these are the other options where you can adjust the wall. These two you can experiment with yourself. But I'll just show one, which is this one. And then when you click, you'll be able to adjust the thickness of the wall, like you see over here. Okay, let me just go and snap to the halfway point. It will be easier. Okay, then I zoom in here. Then wait for the circle to appear. Okay, click on this. And then you can see that you can adjust on the outer side, or you can create a new point. And then by doing this new point on the trapezoid wall, you will be able to make your wall thickness a different dimension. Okay, so kind of something like this. So this allows you to customize and configure different kinds of structural core width. And then this other portion here is the finish line. You know, like in real construction, you have the basic brick wall, right? And then after that, you have the plaster and paint finish. So this one is the plaster and paint finish. This is the solid wall that you have. Okay. So the next one that we are going to do, let me just delete this wall. Let's use delete to delete. Okay. Choose the wall tool again. And then under this ribbon that you see over here, where there's a geometry method, right? You can click on this little triangle. I will just hover here first for all of you to see before I click. So when I click and hold, you will show these different options here. Okay. So if I click and hold and choose this option, this means it will be a chained wall. So I can continuously draw. Okay. Something like this. Okay. If I was the first one, right, after you draw, it's done. Okay, so that's the difference between these two tools. The next one that we have, if you click and hold, this one will allow you to draw from corner to corner. Okay, like so. And then the next one over here, if you click and hold, this one will allow you to draw one direction, click, and then the next direction, click. Okay. So we will delete this. And then now let's just focus on drawing a 12 meter by 12 meter wall. Okay, so how do we do that? Click on the wall tool, click and hold until you choose this option here, the third one. Then I will hover to this X point, that's the origin point. So once it's a tick, you will have a circle animation, then you click. And now I just want you to press tab right? And type 12,000, tab 12,000, enter. Okay, and now you will have drawn a 12-meter by 12-meter wall. Okay, so now when you select your wall, escape, press escape on your keyboard, and now if you select your wall, you will realize that your wall, you see when you click and drag, right, they are grouped together. Okay, but with a keyboard shortcut, right, or the actual button here on the top middle, you will see that there's an option here called suspend group. The keyboard shortcut is alternate G. Okay, once I've click on this button, right, I can click on any part of the wall and they will be selected individually. So I can move these walls away. Okay, whereas previously you were not able to do that. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to copy this wall to the left by 6 meters. Okay, so first you have to select the wall. Right? And then now you just click on the blue line. What will happen is that the pet palette will come up, but there will be these different options here. Okay, so you have this one which is to mirror, this one is to move, this one is to multiply. Okay, so I just want you to click on the multiply button. This effectively allows you to array objects. Okay, we will come to this when we do the windows. But for now, right, I just want to use this tool to just copy one time. So I will use this option called the drag and with this increment and spread. So just click OK. So what will happen is you will just need to have this selected. This will be in blue. And then you just click one time, right? And then you will move your cursor to the left. Make sure that it's generally like this when it's to 180 degrees, right? Angle. Then you press tab and again type 6,000 and then enter and left click to complete the command. Okay. The next one will be repeating what we have done earlier on. Okay, select the wall at the bottom first, right? Select it first. Then click on the blue line once, left click once. Then the pet palette will appear again, right? So repeat the same steps. Click on this button here, the multiply button, just click OK. And then click on the blue line again, move it up, tap, and type 6,000. Enter. Okay. And then enter again if you don't want to click. Okay, so it's either you can click or you can just type enter the next time. So a total of 2 enters. Space bar also can, up to you. Okay, so now what we want you to do is to be able to trim the wall. Okay, so that's available here on the top. Look at my giant arrow. You should be able to see it's next to the hammer. It's a scissors icon. So you click on it here, and then you can trim. Click again, trim. Click again, trim. Click again and trim. Okay? Very straightforward. I will undo again and show you all. Okay? So you don't need to select anything. The button is here on the top. Click here and trim, 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 trim. Okay? Now we are going to draw a internal wall. Okay, so I want to reference the internal wall to be from this top wall over here. So to do that, right, I need to go to this corner here first. See, and again, wait for the Archicad to do the round animation, right? And then don't move your mouse. You see, hands free. Use your hand to type on the keyboard Y, and then 4,000 minus. Okay, and then press enter. Okay, the computer will now automatically move your cursor down by 4,000 mm and do this fancy animation with this giant dash circle and dash line. And this will make it snap to this point that is 4,000 mm from the top right hand corner. So you will just need to click and draw your new wall. Okay, so click on the wall tool, and then now you can select here. Oops. Okay, click, and then you will draw your wall. Oh, sorry, because I left it here at this corner thing, right? You have to click and drag and make sure that it's just a single wall. No wonder. Okay, and then click here. Okay, so I repeat again. What you should be doing is select the wall first. Just now we did the wall as a corner to corner. So click and hold until this is the first wall selection here, right? Then you hover to this corner. Then don't touch the mouse anymore. Just type Y 4000 minus enter. Then left click once to draw the wall. Okay, so Y 4000 minus enter, click, and click here. Okay, so you'll repeat the same steps again. You will hover to the top right hand corner. And now, instead of typing Y, right, you type X 4000 minus enter. Then left click again. And then left click again to this wall. Okay. So now you have drawn this wall. The next step that we want to do, right, is to copy this wall to the left. So just now I was showing you the hard way, which is to click on the blue line, wait for the palette to come up, and then use the array tool to copy, right? So the fastest way is to use the keyboard, Control-Shift-D, right? And then you will see that now my cursor has a plus arrow below. And you can essentially click, and then it will go, move your cursor to the left, and you can just type D, which is the shortcut to go to distance, and type 2250, enter. Okay. Then now what we'll just do is we will use the trim button Same thing that we did just now. Click on this and trim this. And then trim this wall away. Okay. So what we want to do, right, is I want to be able to make this wall into an internal wall. Okay, so how do I do that? You can click on this structure here in the ribbon here and choose 100 block insulated cavity, right? And it will change this wall to this wall. Okay, I repeat again, I undo. Okay, first I select this wall and then I will click on this and change it here. And it will have changed this wall to be this wall type. And remember just now in the beginning of the lesson, I said that you can pick, right, and apply. So it's here. Okay. So click on this dropper tool. Choose your new wall. And then now click on inject. And you inject to this wall. Similarly, you can inject to all the other walls. Okay. And now you will notice that your line is to this point. You can always click on this point and then you drag. And adjust it accordingly. Okay. But for now, we will just leave it like so. Okay, because we may change the wall types again. This is just to illustrate to you the how to pick and eject. Okay, the very last part for today will be just to make 3 doors. Okay, so the doors is very simple. You will see this command here on the bottom left, right? This door tool. You click here, and then you will move it to this point, right? There's a couple of clicks that you need to do lah. Okay, the first click is to determine the location of the middle of the door. The second click is to show whether the door is swinging in or out. Okay, so I will make it swing in, and then that's it. Okay, Now let me just repeat again for this side. I will click here on the door. I move it here and I can, according to where my mouse is, right? I can either have it swing in to the left or swing out to the left or right. Okay, so I'm just going to make it swing like this. And then the last one will be here and then swinging out like so. Okay, so we have completed the first part. Any questions? All okay? All comfortable? Okay, so if you are happy with this file now, just go to File and then you will save. And you can save it onto your desktop here. By right, it should be there and logged into your account. Okay, but I highly suggest all of you to save to a thumb drive if you have, or you email to your own email, just as a record. Otherwise, you if there's some errors, you may lose your file and then you have to start from scratch again. Okay, usually I'll just save it as per the date. Okay.